Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Spooner. I am Vice President of Operations for Safeway in Mid-Atlantic, and I would like to welcome you with a round of applause to our 23rd annual Feast of Sharing. So a quick factoid for you. So if you go back and you look of when this was established, back in 1999 is when we held our very first Feast of Sharing. We have fed tens of thousands of people. So 1999 we go back to. And the last time we were together, so today's kind of cool, right? Last time we were together was in 2019, where we celebrated our 20th annual Safeway Feast of Sharing. So today I'm honored that we can all be back together in person, together, shaking hands, hugging. We're still wearing masks, that's fine. But we get to be here in person, and we're going to do something a little bit special today called a grab and go event, which I'll explain in just a minute. But and if health conditions continue to improve, then next year in 23 we're going to go back to our traditional Feast of Sharing event. So looking forward to that. Okay, so I brought up the grab and go, so let's talk a little bit about that. So the grab and go event, let me explain that. So we'll be distributing 5,000 meal boxes. I said 5,000. 5,000 meal boxes to provide guests with a nutritious holiday lunch. And we're not done there. Additionally, we're distributing 5,000 gift bags. That's like 10,000 my count right now, with the volunteers assembled. So we've got volunteers all over the place. Round of applause for the volunteers. And in these gift bags, we'll be featuring some clothing, accessories. We have face masks, we have hand sanitizers, toiletry kits, and to put a cherry on top here, we have our Safeway Pharmacy team here on site. Safeway Pharmacy team, thanks for being here. And they're going to be offering flu, COVID, and pneumonia vaccinations. And here's the kicker. Guests, it's available for you too. So let's make sure that we all go out there and get those taken care of this year while we're in the season. Now, this is a big event, as you can see, and we can't do this alone. And there are tons of partners, not to mention the volunteers, but we have a bunch of partners with us, and I like to call those folks out right now. These organizations, we have Events DC, and I'd like to recognize the president and CEO. We have Angie Gates. Angie, wave to the crowd. Angie, thanks for being here. We have Truist Bank. We have the Salvation Army. We have Unity Healthcare, and I'd like to recognize President and CEO Dr. Jessica Henderson Boyd. Now, we also have Metropolitan Baptist Church. We have Aramark. We have Runway for Cause Foundation. We have Project Presentation Technology. We have Digital Conventions, and we have High Tech Electric, all here today, and again, all of the volunteers. So round of applause for everyone. Thank you all. We're also honored today to have Mayor Muriel Bowser here with us. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for being with us. So round of applause for her. And we also have Alexis Squire. She's the Mayor's Chief Service Officer. Thank you for joining us. And we have the Washington Commander NFL legends. We have Rick Doc Watson. I think they're over here in the crowd. And we have Fred Smoot, both here with us today. And members of the Command Force cheer team, we have Sheldon and Taylor. I think they're right back here. Welcome. And I'd like to thank the members of the D.C. Council who have joined us also here today. We have Chairman Phil Mendelson and Council members Anita Bonds. We have Brianna Nadeau. We have Christiana Henderson and Janice Lewis-George. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'd also like to thank the administrator of the Federal Health Resources and Service Administration. We have Carol Johnson. Carol, thank you for being with us today. And we have some very special volunteers. We have a big group of volunteers. Here's some more volunteers to name off. We have some volunteers from ABC 7 TV. All right, and here we go. There they are. I think we got ABC 7 right over here. We got Robert Burton. We have Adriana Hopkins. We have Allison Starling. We have Brian Vandegraff. Yay, Brian. And we have Veronica Johnson and Eileen Whalen. We also have NBC4 here with us today. We have Un Yang. We have Jumi Alabanji. We also have Molay Green and Melissa Molay. So, and one other person I have to call out that's not on the script, so I'm quickly moving through a script here. I'd like to specifically thank Beth Goldberg for all her time and all her efforts. So big round of applause for Beth. Beth, great job. So on behalf of Safeway and the partners, we'd like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for being here. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Angie Gates of Events DC. Angie, turned over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you, Brad, for your kind words, and also to you, Tom Laughlin, for your help making this event possible. We definitely could not do this without Safeway's generosity. I'd like to acknowledge Mayor Muriel Bowser, DC Council Chairman Phil Mendelson, all the members of the City Council and Director Alexa Squires who are here today. Thank you for all you do to serve the people of Washington, D.C. I would also like to acknowledge Max Brown, Chairman of the Events DC Board of Directors. Another shout out to the commanders. And lastly, thank you to our partners and volunteers who help us provide these meals and gift bags into the deserving hands of our wonderful guests today. Now, this is my first event here at Events DC, and the gift of giving is so important to me. I am so excited and thankful to celebrate with all of you this season. Now, I may be new to this role at Events DC, but I am definitely no stranger to the immediate impact that the Safeway Feast of Sharing has on our residents here in the District of Columbia. This event is so significant to our community and speaks to Events DC values. We want to be sure to provide benefits to every person who lives, works, and plays in Washington, D.C. The Events DC Board of Directors, staff, and our service partners are grateful to be part of Feast of Sharing, which means so much to so many. I wish you and your families a safe, happy, and healthy holiday season. And now I would like to introduce Council Chair Phil Mendelson.
Thank you, Angie. Good morning to everyone. I'm not going to speak very long. I do want to acknowledge my colleagues. There were some who were introduced that I haven't seen, but I know that Councilmember Robert White at large, Councilmember Christina Henderson at large, Councilmember Brianne Nadeau, Ward 1 are here. And if there's any other council member present, please speak up. And we're all glad to be here. This is an important occasion. This is not just about Thanksgiving, but it's also an opportunity to reflect on the food insecurity that exists in our city. And I just want to say something about that because, you know, we take for granted those of us who go home and we eat our 3 meals, or we don't eat our 3 meals because we're not as good about taking care of ourselves as we should be. But the point is that we have food and we feel secure about food, but there are thousands and thousands of residents who are food insecure, and food insecure manifests itself in different ways. For some folks, it's really, really hard for them to get to a grocery store because there isn't a grocery store where they are, a food desert. And the city is working hard to try to change that, and I see Mayor Bowser, and you've submitted initiatives in the budget to try to increase the number of grocery stores. But there's also just access to fresh food and quality food. And folks who are low income, so low income, that they really have a hard time making ends meet when it comes to food. And what's the case for so many people is rent comes first and food doesn't come first. And so as we think about Thanksgiving and we think about what Safeway's doing and the fact that there's this opportunity to give food away to folks, that we need to reflect on the fact there are so many people who are struggling. I see that really as this event is not just thanking Safeway and others who are contributing, but reflecting at this time of year on this need. So thank you all very much. If I'm introducing the next speaker, I haven't a clue. Or is that you, Mayor Bowser?
All right, thank you very much. Good job. Good job. Okay, so next we are going to bring up Anita Bonds. Anita Bonds, the microphone is yours. Okay. All right, well then we're going to move to Christina Henderson. So Christina.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm Christina Henderson, one of the at-large council members. I want to thank Safeway and all of the partners for continuing this great tradition of, in some ways, kicking off the season of gratitude and Thanksgiving. I'm really excited. When I was walking up, thank you. When I was walking up, seeing all of the constituents and residents who are outside already lining up and their excitement to continue this tradition. And so I want to extend a thank you to all of the partners and all the volunteers for being here today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, next to the podium we have Brianne Nadeau. Brianne?
And Zoe. Well, thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I am the Ward 1 Council Member, Brianne Nadeau. I'm so happy to be here with you. It is wonderful to see our community come together in so many ways this season after so many months of being apart. And it's especially wonderful to be back together here with Safeway and all of your incredible community partners and Zoe. I want to also give special thanks to Beth Goldberg, who has just been so present in our communities over the years. Once again, thank you for helping us each year, as you do, with providing turkeys to our Ward 1 residents. We are so incredibly grateful for that. My colleague, Christina, who was up here before me, very modestly did not mention a very important bill that she introduced that I'm so happy that the Committee on Human Services, which I chair, has moved last week, which is called Give SNAP a Raise. It's a great bill with Christina's leadership and with our committee. Thank you for that vote, Robert. We are going to push forward at the council to expand SNAP benefits, increase SNAP benefits for thousands and thousands of households across the district. So everybody here on the executive team, it's coming to you. We're going to have to fund it in the next budget. But it is so important with the way that the cost of food is going up. I know it's really hard to pay attention to what I'm saying when there's a 5-year-old at the podium. But just know this. We are all working very hard at the council to ensure that the resources we have in the district are going to the people that need them, and we know our mayor is doing the same. Thank you for your partnership, Mayor Bowser, and really, truly hope that everybody has a wonderful holiday this season. Thank you.
That was probably the best example of focus, I think, that I've ever seen. So great job, great job. Okay, next to the podium we have Janice Lewis-George. Janice?
Good morning. Tis the season, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I want to thank Mayor Muriel Bowser. I also want to thank Events DC. Thank you, Safeway, for being great partners. This is a time for us to reflect and be grateful and thankful. And one thing that we do at my Thanksgiving table every year is go around and say something you are thankful and grateful for. And there are a few people in district government I think that we should take the moment to just say we're thankful and grateful for. I want to specifically thank DC Health staff. They have covered, each of us have had ward COVID centers, and they have been there day in and day out at our ward COVID centers, whether it's giving vaccines, giving out masks, giving out rapid tests. So I want to say one particular group I am absolutely thankful for is the DC Health team. This year and last year, getting us through this pandemic, every constituent I talk to, from seniors, young people, parents, saying, I can't say enough about how much DC Health staff has gotten us through this pandemic. And so I want to say I'm grateful for you all for the hard work that you've done. And that's a district agency I want to say thank you to. As I was coming in, I was talking to some of the residents who are standing in line. Many of them are our seniors. And so I want to thank every agency, Department of Aging and Community Living, and I want to thank DPR as well, because our seniors really felt cared for during the pandemic. They had to isolate. It was harder for them than most. And I really appreciate you all stepping up to the plate and being there for our seniors. They are excited to reconnect. They are excited to come in here and be able to greet and say the things they're grateful for. And so I hope this holiday season, as you're reflecting on the things you're thankful for, one of the things we are grateful for as elected leaders is all of our DC government workers, no matter what agency. Thank you for the hard work for getting us through this pandemic and doing the work every single day for district residents. Thank you. We're grateful. And thank you again to our partners who brought us here together to have this. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Great comments. All right, warm round of applause for Robert C. White, Jr. Robert?
Good morning, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to be back here. I really want to say thank you to Safeway and the Safeway team. Thank you to Events DC for hosting this. And I want to give a huge thanks to Mayor Muriel Bowser and to my colleagues on the council. This is what it looks like when a city comes together to really meet a need here in our city. Thanksgiving is a time where a lot of us are looking forward to tomorrow with a lot of joy or anxiety, depending on how your family situation is. Y'all know what I'm saying, but don't raise your hand. But it's also a time where too many people in our city are worried about how they're going to put food on the table for a meaningful holiday tomorrow and for the days after that. That is where we are called to fill in the gap, and that is where Safeway has really come to step in, pull communities and officials and agencies together to fill that gap. So I'm excited to share this opportunity with you. I'm so excited to be doing this and seeing this in person again and to be seeing so many folks come together. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge, in a time where we are giving thanks, we live in a city where we have a mayor, Muriel Bowser, we have a council chaired by Phil Mendelson and my colleagues, where we are always working hard to figure out how to help put food on the table, how to keep a roof over the heads of people living here, not just during the holidays, but every single day. And I think we're blessed to live in a city like this and to have partners like this. And so this Thanksgiving, that's one thing that I'm particularly thankful for, and I hope it's something that you give thanks for as well. So again, to Safeway and all your team members, thank you so much for having us today. Should I introduce?
Keep form going. Thank you. Great remarks. Great remarks. Okay, next up we have Alexis Squire. Alexis?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Brad, for that warm welcome. Thank you, Councilmember White, and all of the council members that are here with us today. I want to acknowledge all of the dignitaries and any special guests that are here today, and especially our Mayor Muriel Bowser. We are here today. Everyone has said how excited we are for the 23rd Annual Safeway Feast of Sharing. It's amazing to be back together again. I am the Chief Service Officer of the District of Columbia and the Director of the Mayor's Office of Volunteerism and Partnerships, affectionately known as Serve DC. We also want to thank our partners at Safeway. I know Brad is here, and Tom in his absence, and also Beth for all of their hard work, and especially to our guests, our host today, and that is under the new President and CEO, Director Gates, and her esteemed team for all of your hospitality. It is phenomenal to see everyone and all of your wonderful faces, all of our community members from, little 5-year-old to all the way to our seniors together again in community. This is a really trusted and treasured tradition here in the District of Columbia, and Thanksgiving is a time where we get to recalibrate, where we get to really demonstrate our DC values around sharing, compassion, and just leadership and community within our city. I would also like to acknowledge my team at Serve DC that is here with us, that works 365 days to make sure that activations like this are happening across our city. Also would like to acknowledge the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs, led by our fearless leader, Director Jackie Reyes. and the many volunteers that are also here with us today, and service members. I saw some AmeriCorps members. Thank you so much for your service. Will you use your time, your talent, and your treasure to make sure that our city feels supported where they need it the best and the most? And last but certainly not least, I would like to thank our very own servant leader and the one who empowers us to connect for good around the calendar every day. And that is our fearless leader, Mayor Muriel Bowser. And without further ado, we'll hear from her. Thank you.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I am just delighted to be here to speak on behalf of 700,000 Washingtonians. I, too, want to thank our partner, not only in the Feast of Sharing, but for over 100 years in Washington, D.C., through the good, the bad, and the great. Let's give a hand to Safeway. I think some of us are headed to Safeway after this event. And we're grateful to all of the workers who are going to be there to greet us. And I know that we're going to get to reconnect with some neighbors and friends that sometimes we only see at the Safeway. So I want to thank Safeway for doing this event and working with us over the years to make sure a lot of Washingtonians have a good Thanksgiving. I'm also pleased that this is our first time in person since 2019. DC is open. And our friends at Events DC are making it happen and helping us lead the comeback, welcoming not only people from around the world, around our nation, and around this region, but also across all 8 wards. So I wanna say a big thank you to the entire team at Events DC, because if you were in the gathering business, it's been a tough couple of years, right? But because they were able to pivot and be creative and pitch in with whatever we needed, including building a hospital and making sure that workers had payments, they did it. So I want to acknowledge the staff at Events DC. Give them a big round of applause. I also want to recognize the board and its chairman, Max Brown. Please give them a round of applause. And I'm very pleased to celebrate the new president and CEO of Events DC, formerly of Office of Cable Television, Music, and Entertainment, Angie Gates. Give Angie a big round of applause. So it's been mentioned already that 37,000 DC government workers are at your service, and many of them don't get to spend Thanksgiving with their families because they're serving us, from the MPD to fire and EMS to our OUC staff who are answering 911 and 311 calls. Let's give them a shout out and wish them a happy Thanksgiving. And as thankful as we are reminded that we live in a city that is inclusive and diverse, where we stick up for each other and where we fight for each other. We're reminded that we should be, and we are, an example to the world of what it means to fight against hate and hate speech, hate violence, and we are all saddened by the rise in anti-Semitism that we see in our country, but we're going to stand united to fight against it, aren't we? We are also angered by the relentless anti-LGBTQ rhetoric that we see in our country, even among our leaders. And we recognize its direct link to the deadly attack that we saw in Colorado this weekend. But we will fight against it, won't we? We're also sick and tired of the easy access to guns that are taking too many of our young people in senseless acts of violence across D.C. We will fight to keep those guns off our streets and to make our laws, our local laws and national laws, make us safe in America. We will fight together, won't we? And we know we cannot ignore any of the things that make our democracy strong, and we will have every opportunity, I'm sure, in the coming months to fight for who we are as Washingtonians, for our D.C. values, and the things that make Washington, D.C. the best and most dynamic city in the world. Today, what we're talking about is how, and I'm so pleased to hear the council members talk about our joint goals in making sure in all 8 wards that everybody, from babies to the preborn and their moms, to elderly, have access to good and healthy food. And we are united in that mission together, from making sure that our laws make sense to our investments across all 8 wards. And let's face it, we have some catching up to do in parts of Washington, D.C. But we are very focused on making sure we have good and quality food everywhere. And Safeway, of course, can be a part of that. And we're going to work with you to get those things done. So on behalf of all of us in D.C. government, I want to say thank you for sticking with us, and I'm going to invite you to continue the work ahead. On December 3rd, we will be hosting, as part of my 3rd term transition, a citywide summit, and you can present ideas and learn more, and you can also apply for a job in D.C. government by going to together.dc.gov. The way that we've been able to advance our city is because we have dedicated public servants, and we want you to join our team. So again, together.dc.gov, submit your ideas or join us on December 3rd. Happy Thanksgiving.
So do you know how hard it is to get up to a podium and the microphone after Mayor Muriel Bowser said? Another round of applause here. All that did was get me fired up. Great job. Great job. Okay, we have a couple special guests with us today that I'd like to introduce, and I'm going to call them both up here. We have, I'd like to introduce some Washington NFL legends. I'm very pleased to introduce these legends, Rick "Doc" Walker and Fred Smoot.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. Well, Brother Smoot, here we go again, and I'm proud to say that we've done this multiple times. And it's good to be amongst the District of Columbia and all of its residents and servants that make this so special. But it's giving. And of course, because I'm a Safeway junkie, in the Great Falls, I mean the bakery, #1, which I shouldn't be. You should be. I haven't. But the flour shop, the butcher shop, I go to get that smoke, that chicken, that roasted bird.
Let them know,
You get the
Doc.
bag $1 off on Mondays. Oh, I'm a frequent flyer. So, and of course, you can tell good organizations and staffs by there's very little turnover. People are there, and they're customer-based. We're customer-based. We played for the greatest fans on earth.
Yes, most definitely.
And then we're giving back now every way we can.
Yep. It's hard to go back at the Doc. All right. First of all, it's hard to go Doc. I want everybody here to give yourself a round of applause, because you know what? Thanksgiving is one of them holidays where food brings us together. Food is life. And at the end of the day, I'm from Mississippi, and my grandma always said this: if common sense was common, we'll have a better place to live in. All right? So simply taking care of your friend and taking care of your family, that's what this day is about. And Safeway and D.C. and the commanders and everybody has been family to me and always will be. Thank y'all for having us here, and thank us for giving us a chance to be a part of this community.
God bless you. HTTC.
All right, thank you very much for being here. Okay, So let's go and we'll start to wrap this up. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. I really do. And thank you for all the speakers. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you for everyone that's out there working right now on our behalf. So for those of you, all right, y'all with me? For those of you who would like to volunteer handing out the meal boxes, gift bags, as I outlined at the very beginning, we have our very own Beth Goldberg. Beth, another round of applause for Beth. I can finish? Okay, keep going. Okay. So we want to please follow Beth to the West Salon. All right? So Beth's right here, and she'll take you to the West Salon if you want to volunteer, and then you will be assigned in stations.
That's for our special guests.
And that's for the special guests. That's for the special guests. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to do that, and then about to come up right after me, behind me at the stage, we're going to have L.A. Young and DJ Mocha Java. Thank you very much, and have a great day.